Are we live, Kate? We got some thumbs up. Hi. How's it going?
We're live.
We're live. Thank you for being here. This is so weirdly formal. Okay, this is Voice Live. We are coming at you from the A16Z offices in Soma.
The extremely gilded offices.
Very gilded. Gilded Age.
There's
here.
a theme.
You can see it.
We are not in theme for.
And I'm here with my good friend, Julie Rosenberg, who is co-hosting with me today, which is so fun. And we got a really fun show. Before we get into all the things we're going to talk about today, we are going to say thank you to a few of the people that make this show possible. First off, Kate in Tampa, off screen, but living her best life for sure.
Which everyone could see what's happening there. Glasses are on. There are palm trees in the background. She's living large.
She's in like a muscle shirt of some kind. But Polygon, Octant, and Vercel make the show possible. We're going to talk about all of them today and give you a little bit more intel on what's going on there. But we've got some fun things happening. We have two great guests who are going to come. Mm-hmm. Jimmy live from Vercel and Seun, who is working on a bunch of stuff. a legitimate quant, which I can't wait to tell him.
We officially have a quant.
Which
is huge for us.
Truly. I have been making the joke for years that you're my quant.
Yeah,
Dina's
ask my quant.
And today we're going to find out what that has meant.
Right. We're going to get down into the deets of the quant of it all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but before we do all that, and then I have a little story and you have a little story that we're going to brief each other on and talk about. Before we do that, though, I'm going to talk about Polygon. So every company moving money globally hits the same walls. Legacy rails are slow, expensive, and built for a pre-internet world. Stablecoin rails are fast, but they're fragmented across vendors that don't talk to each other. The plumbing to deliver on the promise of stablecoins hasn't existed yet. Polygon's open money stack is fixing that. One unified stack that puts global money movement onto proven rails that moves at the speed of the internet. And why Polygon? Because they've been moving money, which is why their new brand campaign reminds audiences that it's not their first trillion. Check out the tweet that we're dropping in the chat and watch their new brand video. We love Polygon. Heart hands. They're so great. The campaign work that the marketing team is doing there is really, really fun. And I love what they're up to.
Love.
So that's Polygon. Okay.
Beautiful.
I feel like, first of all, we should just talk a little bit about San Francisco.
Let's talk about San Francisco. Welcome to my city. For those who don't know, this is my city now. I've taken it over.
Own it.
I own San Francisco. Daniel Lurie, step aside.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
I've been here for about a week.
Yep.
And not my first time in San Francisco, obviously.
No, I've lured you in here before.
And every time I come, I'm your passenger princess. I just sit in that passenger seat and you just take me around. But it is really interesting. There's so much. I was talking to Dina yesterday, and there's so much. You can like feel what's happening in the air. Everybody's talking about, obviously, AI. Everybody's talking about peptides.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, the meme is real. Like, I think that's my main takeaway is like the meme of San Francisco is actually a reality. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to a friend who used to live in New York and now lives here. She works in venture capital. And we were just talking about that, like the meme coming to life and how it feels being here. And she was like, yeah, it's really interesting. You're sort of in the land of like promise, but also like not exactly reality. Mm. Like I feel like in New York, obviously there's so much capital. There's so much venture activity that's happening, but it's also, there's a lot that does feel rooted in like the reality of businesses. And of course that's happening here, but there's also this like layer of secondaries and valuations and like, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what your perspective is on that.
I think it's interesting because I do get a sense of when I'm here and you start to just hear the eavesdropping and the whispers of like AI. Like you step into a coffee shop and like there's just like this.
Oh, we led the round. I've heard that so many times.
No, it's everywhere. And I do think like an immediate reaction I've had is like, oof, like anxiety, like everyone is behind the times. Like this is the most pressing thing. Yeah, there's a sense of urgency around everything because it's like so the discourse here. Mm-hmm. Whereas in New York, there's just like, that's like a side plot. Like there's so many other things that are happening.
Right.
And it creates like a balance around the tech environment in New York. Whereas here, we're basically just on an IV drip of mostly tech.
Totally. And I think it's my conversation with this other friend, it was a good reminder of like, of course, a lot of this is very real and very present and actually happening. And there is legitimate changes that we're seeing that in tech that are legitimately going to be like a before and after in the way that people work and live and all these things. But there's also a lot that is not, and like a lot that will go to zero. And it's sort of just a nice like smelling salts on the urgency of it all.
Yeah, I think that's a good gut check on the urgency. Like everything feels like it's going to happen tomorrow here. Yes. Whereas like the AI doomsday feels like it's very imminent here. Mm-hmm. And I think that is like, there's an inflated sense around everything that is discussed as a result.
For sure.
Yeah.
I also will say it's incredible that people are so into tech when it's so beautiful outside. Like the weather and the nature.
No.
Like, what the is going on?
Ali from Vercel did a good tweet the other day that was like, "It's a beautiful day, sit inside on Slack."
Oh, that actually became like a whole meme. Okay, so that's the San Francisco update. Everybody's talking about AI and peptides as much as they say they are.
But you do have we will say you do have a love for it. You've discovered a love for it.
For what?
For San Francisco.
Oh, I have a special place in my heart for San Francisco. Everybody here wants me to move here. Everybody's like, so when are you moving here? And I'm just like, that is like no shade, but that is not going to happen for me personally. But I do love it. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The food is amazing. The people are super smart.
Mm-hmm.
I get to hang out with my wife.
Right. Most importantly, I'm no fool. I don't even try to convince you because I just know that's not on the cards.
Yeah.
So
okay, tell me
realistically.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, tell me what you want. Tell me what you want to talk to me about.
Well, speaking of very intense groups of people, there's been this viral paragraph from a Colossus article going around on Twitter recently about Hudson River Trading's first ever intern class.
Okay.
And there's basically 10 people.
It was their first ever.
First ever.
Okay,
intern.
first, what is Hudson River Trading?
Hudson River Trading is a high frequency trading firm.
Okay.
So
a Jane Street.
Okay. They are doing high speed math.
They're in New York? Or they're in?
They are in New York.
Okay.
4 of the 10 of this first cohort, first intern cohort, have gone on to build multi-billion-dollar companies.
Okay, name names.
Okay, we're naming names. We have Jeff from Hyperliquid. This is where this information originally surfaced. Was Colossus did an article on Jeff and Hyperliquid.
Oh, I saw
and their growth and what his journey has even been.
11 employees. $900 million in the last year.
Yes.
No venture funding. Unbelievable.
Insane. The highest of high margins.
Really great stuff.
Yeah. Incredible stuff. That's the goalpost.
Proud of him.
Yeah. Which I feel like is a whole other tangent.
This came from that article.
Yes, this came from that article. It was like a little subtext of the article. Okay. Of like, oh, Jeff's classmates at
people caught it
at Hudson River Trading were like Alexander Wang from Scale AI.
Whoa, okay.
Scott Wu from Cognition, Jesse Zhang from Decagon. These ginormous names that are in mostly AI right now. And they were sort of subtweeting each other, being like, oh, that was so funny. Remember the good old days, joking about it. But it's just a crazy concept that there was this insanely high talent density.
Yeah.
And I think it's just interesting to sort of think of the new graduating classes. I think very much the past version of that has been from schools, but I feel like in the age of AI, it's increasingly moving towards these extreme high agency environments. And instead of thinking about school, job, career, it's becoming join the highest agency environment and then learn how to operate so you can just build your own thing because it's so easy to build things now.
Yeah. What would be an example in your mind of a high agency environment?
That's a good question. I think joining really small and mighty teams like this.
Early stage.
Yeah, super early stage.
Joining Hyperliquid. Being one of the 11 at Hyperliquid.
Join Hyperliquid. It's not hard. Join Hyperliquid before Hyperliquid becomes Hyperliquid. It's so simple. I think that it's about just finding really small groups of high agency environments. I think the blueprint even 10 years ago was graduate college, get a job at Google, Meta, Amazon,
big tech,
big IB, big consulting.
100% not the
case anymore.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting. I'm very curious what the new graduating classes are going to be entering into and what that model is going to look like.
Yeah.
And what environments people are going to be seeking out.
It's actually reminds me of our friend Kieran. Okay,
Kieran.
Shout out
POV Kieran. Shout out POV Kieran.
He's gonna be so happy to hear this. We'll make this a cut down. He is a friend of ours from New York. He's a crypto founder, and he has moved to China for the next year to basically create content around what is happening in the tech scene there, what innovation looks like, what early stage founders and builders and creative folks as well are doing, and what tools they're using, and how and when the government is involved in that. And he had told me before that he was going, he was like, I'm going to China for a year, like kind of vibes. And
China.
I was just like, what? And then his first few videos on YouTube are so good.
They're amazing.
Amazing. And one of the videos is about an OpenClaw meetup that was happening, I think, in Shanghai, and was one of the parallels that he's sort of making, or one of the things he's talking about is like a lot of these meetups are being funded by the government, and they're actually like giving out credits to students and to early grads and really encouraging the use of these tools and innovation. And that's interesting for a number of reasons. But one of the things that has really stuck with me is he talked about 12 million graduates every single year, and like where are they going and what workforce are they entering into?
Yes.
And that the concept of 12 million people every single year going out and looking for jobs. And that gives me like a bit of like anxiety just thinking about, but it's interesting to see like,
this year.
but anyway, I recommend watching his video and just kind of like seeing what's happening over there. And two, I think to your point, it's like, where are the environments, where's like the smartest environments for young, ambitious people to spend their time right now? And also, what does that mean for, like what is the graduating class of what institution is going to look like this in 15 years? I think it used to be Jane Street, it used to be these trading firms or big tech or Deloitte or whatever it was. And that feels like totally not the case anymore.
I know. I'm very curious to see like how sought after those opportunities will continue to be.
Or like if they exist also.
Yeah, totally. I think that's even a big part of this question too, is like the size of companies is just like increasingly shrinking. Like everyone is moving towards a more efficient model. Like what you just said with Hyperliquid, it's like an 11-person team. Yeah. Like each employee is worth hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. Like that's an insane metric. Yeah. But like that's the age we live in now. And so what will hi. Yeah, like that. Hello. Come on down. You can come join us.
No?
Yeah, come on. Why not? He's like, wait. Or you can hang out, whatever you want. Come on in. Come in whenever you feel right. Thank you, Sherry. Jimmy. Hello. How's it going?
Great, yeah.
I'm Natasha.
Jimmy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you too.
Okay. Jimmy, Lai?
Yep.
Lai? Okay. You are at Vercel, and we love Vercel. We're huge fans. We're doing a lot of fun stuff with you guys. We're actually going to talk about some of the things that we're doing with Vercel later in the show. But you are an engineering director. You're mainly focused on Next.js. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about like open source frameworks in general. But would love for you to just give like a very quick overview on what Next.js is for the listener.
Yeah. So Next.js is...
Let's jump right into it.
I'm sorry. We can do some other questions. Allie did have a really good question here. She was like, you're an engineer. Wait, her wording was so perfect. You're an engineer, but you have drip. Explain. Which is maybe a softer question to start with.
Yeah.
What's the hardest one?
Oh, really? Okay, you can think about that. No. So Next.js to start.
I mean, I can start with that, I think. The drip.
The drip. Yeah.
I say, so I'm French, and so I think there's like a little part of that, but I probably blame my Asian mom.
Okay.
Mostly.
She's responsible?
Yeah, I don't think she speaks English, so she's not going to be able to. She's not going to know how to talk to her. Yeah, but I think she's like incredibly judgmental person, and so I think every time I dressed poorly at home, she would kind of roast me.
That's powerful.
Yeah, and so I think that was like pretty sort of like important in my childhood growing up a little bit. So
did you grow up in France?
Yeah.
Okay, where in France?
In Paris.
Okay, where in Paris?
Sort of like in the suburbs of like just basically right outside the 30th.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Have you been?
Yes, I have. I've spent the last a month every year for the past few years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really fun in June.
You've been more in France than me.
Probably. But yeah, I feel like growing up there, everybody I know who has grown up in Paris has pretty much impeccable taste. So it really does kind of shape you. So maybe that's the answer, your mom and the environment.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And every time you leave the house, it's now, what judgment would mom have on this?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I
a
hear the
great,
voice in my head.
that's important.
I love that. Okay, nice. Well, congrats on the drip and that being part of your persona. Okay, Next.js, tell us what's up.
Yeah. So Next.js is basically a tool that like people use to basically build websites end to end from like the server to the client.
Okay.
It's open source. It's been here for like 9 years at this point, and it's I think it's safe to say it's like one of the most popular tools that people use to build sort of like the websites that you use every day, basically. Yeah.
Powerful tool.
Yeah.
And it's open source.
It's open source, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us what that means.
Open source is, I think at the lowest level, it just means that like the work that we do is available for everyone. People can see how the tool is being built when we release it. It's available for free too.
Okay.
Those are the two big tenets. Like you can basically, regardless of whether or not you're like a Vercel customer or someone else, you can basically just download it and use it.
Okay.
Yeah, for yourself.
And I think a lot of the ways that I think about open source is that like a lot of people are contributing to it. Is that true of all open source projects?
I don't think all. I think it really depends on which.
Okay.
But for Next.js, yeah, we get like a really sort of like healthy amount of like people that, because the way that the tool is being built is available for everyone. There's a lot of people that chime in and like they ask requests, and sometimes they just they're just like, well, I fixed it myself. Like, why don't you like take it and distribute it for everyone else?
Okay.
Which is really nice. I think some other tools like some pretty popular tools like VS Code, for example, they probably don't do as much because even though the work is public, sometimes people just don't really they don't want to like go through the volume of like people sending them like sort of suggestions.
Okay.
They just feel very strongly about what to do. I actually don't think it's the case for VS Code, but it does happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you like reviewing submissions that contributors, is that a big part of your job?
Not my job, but my team's job for sure.
Yeah.
We try to take a look at it often. I would say, like my team is like 15 people working on framework every day. Like every week or so, someone takes a look at like, what's incoming and like what are people like trying to add to the framework. And we sort of like, we then review it and like accept it and like merge it. If that's the case.
What is the current evolution of Next.js? Like what are your team of 10, 15 engineers working on right now?
Yeah. So I think I've been managing for like 4 years at this point, and
you've been managing it for 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
4 years.
Next.js through and through.
Yeah, it's 9 years old at this point.
Yeah.
They created the project when I started learning how to program.
Wow.
Really. So there's a lot of history there. I can speak for like the people that came before. But I think since I came in, the team has been like somewhat stable. Like you find that like for those kind of tools, like you actually really don't want to have like 50 engineers working on this. Like it's kind of like a labor of love. So you really want to like just keep the core really small, have like everybody understand well what you're building. Because I like like when the sites when your apps kind of get too big, you can tell that like some other people have like a different hand in like one page versus one another, and then the design becomes kind of messy, for example.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for something so specific like a web framework, basically we try to really sort of like keep it well designed.
Okay.
I'd say we're very sort of like nitpicky about how we go on about this.
Cool. I'm sure also everyone who uses Next.js is very opinionated as each new feature comes live or each new change comes live. I'm sure you spend a good amount of your time just fielding complaints from very impassioned developers.
Yeah, there's no one that has as much like standards as like someone who's getting your project for free.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. The less you pay for it, the more. Okay, something really interesting. So this time last year there was 9.6 million downloads per week, and now there's 36 million. Recently spiked over to 40. And a huge part of, it seems, why this is happening and sort of like how dominant the framework has become is that a lot of these AI agent applications are widely using Next.js. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about like what changes have happened that have made sort of this massive surge happen?
Yeah. I think there's two parts to it. I think like I brought it up earlier. The framework is just like 9 years old at this point. And over time, we just, sort of like kept steadily growing our usage.
Okay.
And so when, many other frameworks have come and gone during that time, like it's a bit of a thing in like the JavaScript ecosystem where every week people would create like new tools. And we're lucky that we've kind of survived up to the point that we've become sort of like, if you're looking to build a website, like it's very easy to stumble upon it.
Yeah.
And so I think then there's like, a learning cycle where the data sets just have, a lot of information about Next. And so they train on it. We work with the big labs to continue training the models on like, the newer version of Next too. So that's like one part of the answer, which is just like, we're just popular. And so, it
sort of like maybe compounds on itself. Like, okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Like you're already, Next.js was an evolution of sort of building out a framework for very clean UI building.
Yeah.
And so much of agentic workflows, like developer workflows, is like creating very specific instruction sets. Next.js is already like the first instruction set that an agent is given.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Like we were like one of the big ones, and so they learn through it. But it's kind of easy, right? Like it's we're like the biggest ones, but at the same time, like the competition is like very sort of like intense because of the new frameworks coming in, and they don't have all of this legacy behind them. So they're able to do new things. They're able to do it faster. And so a lot of the work too, like another part of like the answer is that we just keep like trying to improve all the time because we have like 15 heads, so we're like spending their full time on like thinking about like how do people like want to develop websites in the future, and like how do we basically best guide our users via like new features, via new documentation, via sort of like new patterns basically. And so we spend a lot of time on that, and I think the agents kind of pick up on that. They know that like it's not a dead project, and that we're still actively
they're like these people are working on it. Yeah, they're cooking.
I think that brings up an interesting point. Something I've been thinking a lot about recently is just like the state of UIs and the importance of UIs. Like I think so much of Vercel's story was obviously about like the ease of spinning up UIs. Like you want to build a website, the easiest way to do it is through Vercel. It takes out like a huge amount of infrastructure pain to actually get to the point of like having a beautiful landing page or whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
But now sort of the importance of UIs is changing. Like we have all of these headless bots that are running and scraping websites and pulling information. And I mean, Vercel has done an amazing job in keeping up with understanding where demand is for how you're building. And like very much a lot of your work is how to build Next.js for agents, not just for people now. So I guess I'm curious like how you're thinking about just the power of interfaces and what that evolution is going to look like in this new AI agent world that we're living in.
Yeah, it's a great question. Like we think about this like a lot, right? Because I'm trying to like think about my work in like 5 years and like am I going to be out of a job? Like what is that? what is important?
The question we're all asking.
Exactly. And well, in the worst answer is like
yes, the worst answer is yes.
It doesn't matter.
It's over.
But I think about it, and I think about the way I use like UIs myself, and like the way I use like sort of like agents to potentially like sort of create apps. And like what I care most is sort of like having access to information and like being able to like update it. And it doesn't matter the shape or form. And so I think we're kind of orienting ourselves toward like sort of like maybe UI less, so a UI less kind of world where what matters more is like what you expose, right? And then on top of that, like let's say like we jump like a few years ahead, like and the agents are able to kind of create like UI just in time, and they can basically create something really personalized to you,
when you say just in time, do you mean like in real time? Like okay.
Like I'm thinking about what's the weather like in Paris today, as I prepare for a flight. And then like like instantly I could have like a nice UI that
Okay.
just like shows exactly the kind of stuff I need. And that's going to be personalized because like the information that I need or that I really like to see is very different from the information like from someone else.
Yeah.
And
You're
so,
like, how do I have the drip?
exactly. What kind of, what kind of shops do I want to go to? What kind of food should I try to visit according to my own taste?
Yeah.
Hyper personalization.
Exactly. And so I think we're gonna, after we're done with like our current patch of work, we're gonna, try to think about this problem. And at the same time, I'm saying like this, it's not about UI, but at the same time, I think in the same way like people like nice clothes and sort of like nicely designed MacBooks, etc. I think it's just not just because you can create any kind of UI you want, you still probably want to be able to like consume someone else's like taste.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not because everybody can cook that like you don't want to go to the restaurant
Right.
anymore.
Yeah. Totally.
And so I think that's what matters most. Like I think people are gonna sell like recipes about like those building blocks.
Oh, interesting. Cool. I remember a few years ago, there was like this phrase that kept sort of coming along the timeline, and people kept talking about like luxury software and like what that would look like. And I think it's like not exactly the same thing, but similar to what you're speaking to, of sort of this experience of so much of our lives are more and more online, and so much more of the way that we interface with the world initially is like through this information that exists on some sort of screen. And I think like a positive view of where that could go is that there is sort of like a new type of like artistry and personalization and appreciation for different people's like setups in a way that we don't have today, just because so much of it has looked very similar for everybody. And actually it would go into some of the show me your stack stuff that we're doing with Vercel that we'll talk about later. But yeah, it's really interesting to sort of see like how like all of that end state comes from, with all of software, but comes from like the infrastructure layer that you're building and speaking to. Okay, so you guys recently had a big announcement in partnership with a bunch of Vercel competitors, and I want to talk about is open source just a bunch of frenemies?
Yeah. So yeah, the big announcement that we had is that we created like a working group with like Cloudflare, Netlify, Google about how we could work better together to support basically Next.js on their platform.
Okay.
Because the part I didn't cover about like Next.js is that like Next.js is backed by Vercel, and so what we're selling is like sort of like the framework that you can use yourself, but also if you want to use it to the best of its abilities, you probably like can use Vercel.
Okay.
To like deploy it and have like sort of like the best performance.
So are you guys like is it like a freemium model? Sort of like you get Next.js for free, and then but what is going to make them, what is like most easily plugged in is other Vercel tools? Is that kind of true, or
no?
I
think freemium to me kind of implies that like you can't sort of like access it without sort of paying. But you can, right? Like it's all like open source, and like we sort of like expose like the right hook so that you can, if you wanted to, you could create your own Vercel.
Right. It's more cloud agnostic.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Vercel, like what we would sell you is like the time to set that up.
I see. Okay.
In the same way that like we would in the future, we wouldn't sell like pre-made UIs because you don't want to waste your time doing it. Like it's the same thing. We're selling you like tasteful sort of like primitives so that you can sort of like deploy it. And so other companies like Cloudflare and Netlify, they basically allow you to host Next.js in the same ways.
Okay.
But because they were not like the company that pays us. It was a bit more like sort of like difficult probably to kind of get access to the same level of like details about like how do you actually plug Next.js in the right way with your infrastructure. And so they were pretty unhappy about this. They made like a bunch of like super controversial like blog posts. Our CEOs started fighting with each other on like Twitter.
When was this? Like a year ago or like recently?
Maybe a few months ago. Like,
really recent. Okay.
It's been going on for a while. It's been going on for a long time.
Okay.
But during that time, we basically we reached out to like the engineers working on like Next.js at their company, and we're like, we kind of want to help you guys because like what matters most for me is just that like Next.js works well.
Yeah.
everywhere,
A
right?
peace offering.
Yeah. Because also, if it doesn't work well, people blame me. And so it's just like, yeah, it's just a matter of like, backing myself here. And so we started working on it together, and like, yeah, a month ago, I think at this point, yeah, we announced like officially like a working group where we're just gonna publish our findings, like meet with people and sort of like have a bit more of a process around how we support them.
Okay.
Yeah.
A beautiful
Nice. That's
CYA campaign.
I love it. That's
Exactly.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Why should an everyday internet user care about open source at all?
I think open source is like, it's like, I think, yeah, everyday users don't realize it, but like a lot of like the tools that we use, a lot of like the laptops that we, or like hardware that we use kind of runs on like open source software.
Mm-hmm.
And open source software, the way I think about it is that it's basically the closest thing to art for nerds, maybe, that you can do.
Okay.
In the sense, like, if you think about the reason why people do art, is because they have an opinion, like a very strong opinion on like how to do something, or like how they visualize something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time they don't even care about making money from it. They can just sing out there at a bar, and it just feels good. I think open source software is like the equivalent for like sort of like software engineers, where people just feel so strongly about like how you should be able to build websites, or how you should be able to like run your computer, that they go out there and they kind of do it like for free. They distribute it in the same way. And I think like it's really important that we kind of keep this open.
Yeah.
Because it's art. Really.
Were you in your career before you started working at Vercel, were you contributing to open source projects? Like, what was your relationship to?
Well, I was always a big user.
Okay.
Right. Because a lot of like most of the tools that we use to build websites are all open source. Like no one pays for like a license to like download the tool and then like do something with it.
Okay.
It's all like insanely accessible, which is also why I think like website building is like one of the most like accessible way to like, it's one of the most popular software engineering jobs, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like start when they're 14 and they're able to like just hack on websites for free. But I never really contributed to it before joining Vercel. I was working at like Meta.
Okay.
But I was
So like quite the opposite of open source.
Well, funnily no, because Meta actually has a big like open source.
Oh really?
Sort of
wow.
like a DNA.
Cool.
A lot of the tools that we use, like React.
Oh,
React
okay.
is Meta.
Oh wow. Okay.
And they don't make money out of it. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't really care for it.
Okay.
Either, but like they let it happen, like because
Wow.
it powers
Okay.
all of their websites, and
Cool.
it's like a really well proven technology.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
And so I used to work on React Native, which was like the
Okay.
React for mobile.
Okay.
So I was kind of contributing to open
That's
source.
definitely you contributing to an open source project.
I was paid. I was very much paid for it.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different.
Yeah.
I think like I have a lot of respect for like the people that like have like sort of like regular jobs and are able to like spend their evenings kind of working on those tools.
Yeah.
Even though it's like unrelated.
A true artist.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like really for the love of the game.
Yeah. I'm just a fake. I'm
We're here to out you. I am curious if you, in this art form of development, like if you pursue any hacky side projects to even also just like test out what you're building with Next.js. Like, how are you sort of feeling like you're keeping in touch with the current state of website building or product building?
Yeah. Well, the big reason why I went for like, I went into like web development is that I just like, I'm a very sort of visual person. And so I was kind of like building my own tools because I like building my own sort of like UIs. Like I was saying earlier, like I hate going in on a website and like, having to go through like, 10 pages of ads or like sort of inefficient content. And so to this day, I'm still doing it a lot where if I want to like watch a movie, have like my own sort of like movie app calendar. And
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay, whoa.
And I have like many tools that basically are using Next.js. And I think that's the way I'm most useful to the team too.
Yeah.
So you're already seeding these hyper-personalized experiences to you.
Yeah.
You're introducing the drip all around you.
Exactly. Like I love like I think someone called it like personal software, where this idea of like you're just like doing like custom stuff for yourself, and like now AI has made it like super available. And I have like a lot of like my own personal websites that I don't care to share. They're just like nice, and Next.js kind of really allows me to do this like really quickly.
So that's definitely an observation I've had. Where a show that we're working on together with Boys Club is a series called Show Me Your Stack, where we're interviewing techies, or I'm interviewing techies as the creator and host, and getting a screen level tour of what their tech stack is. And I'm talking to a lot of very technical people, developers, people who are building out IDs, people who are building out like very complex AI infra, all these little pieces of the stack. And I think the thing that I have found most interesting is every single person I interview uses a different IDE, a different way in which they're interacting with the thing that is most important to them. And the ones that have been most popular, the ones that are emerging beyond like, just the classic VS Code and things like that, are these hyper personalized IDEs. For example, like Ghostly has become super popular. Ghostly, has become super popular just based off of the customization that you can have in the layout of when you're writing code, which I find really interesting, is that we're like hyper personalizing our own workflow rather than just like the end state product that we're working on.
Yeah, like another expression of this, I think, is like, you've probably heard of like OpenClaw, right? And like sort of like people like, using it to just let it do anything they want. And like, what's amazing about this is that you don't even need to code anymore. You don't need to go through like your config or like just like write your own like scripts that like do your routine. You can just say like, hey, check every week, if like there's like spots available at the DMV in San Francisco or something like this. I have this running right now every 15 minutes, for example. And it saves like, yourself like an incredible amount of time. Like you use it as like a personal assistant, and I think that's the real sort of like game changer that's gonna happen. I think in like the new sort of like tools, the new products that the AI labs are gonna come up with.
How do you so what we're sort of describing is like that in the current age, people are building out these hyper personalized systems around them, like personal workflows, and so much of what Next.js is and originally was built around was building these frameworks around specifically UI development and the ability to get to a front end. How do you think about frameworks that we're developing to build out the systems around our own workflows? For example, I think Vercel does a lot of really interesting skill work and helping you give very specific instruction sets for their agents. But how do you generally think about like the agentic frameworks that are being built for people developing out their personalized workflows?
Yeah, well, we're I think as a company we're like investing heavily into this because we think that it's going to be the Next.js in a way, which is sad for me. I think, but like we're really banking on like sort of like being able to provide like those like primitives so that you can like then deploy your agent, because it's not only about like running it for yourself on your own computer. We're thinking more about the business use case, like the business agent, basically, where internally, for example, we have something called, I don't know if I'm supposed to say actually, but like we have something called, I know you're about to say. We have something called like D0, for example, which is this type of agent that is like uniquely personalized to be able to pull and like reason about all the data that we have at Vercel. So we, instead of having like a data analyst, sort of like having to call them and like being like, hey, can you like run like those 20 reports? It's just like literally one message away. And you say, how many Next.js downloads do we have? Like who's the best customer? Who's the worst customer? That kind of things. And so as we built this, we were like, wow, this like we're gonna need this for like everything, because this translates to like customers for like software engineers too, like, which is why we're gonna be out of a job soon. But like basically anything like this, and I think people do need like sort of like a framework for this. And a lot of companies, probably ourselves too, are starting to like investigate like what that looks like. What is like the final sort of like shape through which you're gonna expose those capacities.
For the record, I don't think you're going to be out of a job anytime soon. But genuinely, I think because like so much of what you are doing is creating like very hyper opinionated guardrails to like framework development. And even what you just described with like building out these sort of opinionated agentic flows. Like I think that will continue to be something that is heavily reliant on people and building out these like very specific opinions and instruction sets for agents to follow. And I think that will require continuous hand-holding or continuous care throughout the experience of using these tools.
Yeah, I'm not that worried about it. I joke about it a lot because I'm thinking about, retirement and all. I'm excited about like the next things. But yeah, I think, essentially like a lot of people are just going to be judged for purely their takes, right? Like what's their, how can
drip.
Exactly.
Comes back to the drip.
Okay, so you're using agents in your workflow around data. Is there any other ways that you are personally using agents?
I'm
in work specifically.
Yeah, I don't know if I should say this too, but like basically I have like something that runs every hours.
Okay.
And that just pulls data from like every sort of like information that I have, like Slack, Notion, Granola.
Okay.
And I try to compile this into like sort of like a brain, like sort of like just like a knowledge base, so that I can like later say like, hey, I have a meeting with like those people, like what is the context, right? What should I remember about? Because like the one thing we've seen with like, especially with like the rise of AI, is just like there's just a lot more stuff happening at the same time.
A lot of information,
And honestly, I can't even keep up anymore with like or Slack. Like I have so many sort of channels left unread, and so I have like this agent that kind of like pulls like the relevant things for me to kind of look at.
And then what's like the interface where you're reviewing that data?
It's purely chat.
Okay.
So far, I haven't gone as far as like doing like personalized sort card reports or anything like this. But I would love to.
Yeah.
It's like
cool. That's next weekend's project.
Exactly. There's a little bit of danger there because you can like spend so much time trying to automate it,
right?
Instead of like just reading the
for sure. Yeah.
But so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But it's already, I think I spent like probably close to like 100 hours on this already.
Okay. Whoa.
Because it's not a solved problem yet. Like memory is like I'm like watching very closely like what the companies in the space are doing because if ChatGPT, Claude can really remember accurately everything that you've been up to, I think it's amazing. It'd be super scary, of course.
Yeah.
But I think there's a great unlock there to be.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Something we were talking about before you came in was just how so much of this innovation is like truly valuable, will change the world, but there is a lot of like FUD, and there's a lot that's just like the land of promise and like just kind of, I don't know, will go to zero, stuff that will definitely go to zero, and that we collectively as a industry in tech have sort of put some eggs in a basket that maybe is not exactly what we thought it was going to be. And maybe you don't have an answer for this, but is there something that you use or have seen, or even just like a Twitter rabbit hole where you're like, that legitimately is valueless, like everybody's talking about this thing and like it's not going to work?
Roast.
It could be you don't have to name names either, but like it can even be a concept. But where do you think there's like the most FUD, I guess is the question.
What do you mean, like in terms of like this thing is like valueless, or this
it's like it could be a tool, it could be like, I mean, sort of similar to what you were talking about of like we can spend so much time sort of over engineering the like brain or the summarization or the process for like getting information in and then getting like an output that is supposedly supposed to save you time and energy. But then at the end of the day, if you really look at it, like you could have just read all the stuff. That's one example. But like, is there something else that you're seeing that you're like, oh, I just see that and I think that actually is not going to be the way that we're doing it in 2 years or 5 years or 10 years?
Well, that's a great question. Like, what are we gonna?
What are we wasting our time?
I think we're not wasting time anywhere. I say this because I take it like slightly personally, because I think a lot of the work we do, for example, is like sort of like research and development on websites and like how people want to build websites. And like you might just say, well, websites were working like 10 years ago. Why are you guys trying to reinvent the wheel at all time? And so every time I see something that's like, it's not as great as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's still like great that like people are exploring it, so that like at least we have like a record of it like not working.
You're like stuff begets more stuff. Like there will be, it might not be that thing, but like that will give you some data and information. Okay, exactly. That makes sense. Yeah,
there's a big bubble right happening at the moment. Like there's like an insane amount of money being funneled, and then like we're just like trying stuff out. We tried stuff out internally, right? OpenAI definitely tried a bunch of stuff out. Like I think they have like a browser that like no one really uses right now.
Or Sora or like,
exactly. Yeah. But now we've tried it. Now we know it's it kind of sucks, and so at least we can kind of move on and like learn from it. And that's why it's kind of exciting to be to be here in SF.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
you're really close to it.
Probably $500 million. Fun failed experiment.
That's true. Yeah. What tools were you thinking about?
I don't know that I have a specific tool in mind necessarily, but I think that people love to talk about their stack. They love to talk about the optimizations that they're doing any given day. And I think I'm just like I'm just like skeptical that we're all just kind of like drinking the same Kool-Aid, and we'll eventually feel like, whoa, that was crazy that we were all trying to do that.
Like NFTs.
Totally, for sure.
We can't say that word on the show anymore, actually.
Jimmy, thank you so much for coming on. It was so nice to chat with you, and you're welcome anytime.
Yeah,
truly. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you too.
All right.
You got it. You got your way out. Okay.
What
a great chat.
Jimmy rocks.
Okay.
I just love everyone from Vercel that I meet.
Just the coolest team.
The best, truly the best people. And a huge shout out to Vercel. They're also sponsoring Show Me Your Stack, this amazing series that we're working on.
I'm so excited for the world to see it. Wait, hold on. Oh no. Okay. Our second guest is here. Let me see if he's gotten in the building.
Oh, great. I think while that's happening, it might be a good time to talk about Vercel a little more.
Let's do it.
Okay, great. So if you're a startup building with agents, look no further than Vercel. Their agentic infrastructure gives you and your agents everything you need to ship. And if you're supported by one of their hundreds of VC or accelerator partners, you have access to exclusive discounts and benefits. Deploy faster, scale globally, and ship world-class AI products. Check out the platform thousands of companies use from day zero to IPO. There's some rumors there at vercel.com/startups, and see the live link in chat.
Great job.
Love Vercel.
Great job reading.
Thank you so much. Try to give it a little character.
I love it. What a really interesting conversation, honestly. It's like,
I know.
Great stuff. Okay.
I really appreciate that he is truly bringing drip into every piece of the stack.
It really came up, and
it's a methodology.
Okay, I think that our next guest is inbound.
Great.
And
I think that, have you made any hyper personalized setups for yourself over there?
No.
We're working on it though.
Yeah. Sure. I feel like, I don't know, with a lot of, obviously I use Cloud every single day. I use it for a bunch of stuff. I talked about this with my therapist, where I feel like I have some
bring therapy in the room.
Every episode, where I feel like there is a gun to my head.
Yeah.
And people are like, use these tools. And I'm just like, whoa, I now never want to. Like, there's something that, and something to analyze, I guess, a little further.
There's also just a lot of overhead involved in it. Like, I think whenever I try to do these things, I realize how early they still are. And I'm like, oh, this just requires so much handholding. Like, I feel like my digital companion is like an 8th grader.
100%, yeah.
Which, like, love them. They have so much energy and
so sweet.
They're so sweet. But just like,
they're so eager.
They're so eager, but they have so much to learn still. And I think like what I have less patience for as a non-technical person is just like doing the reps on a lot of these tools, which I think someone like Jimmy has such depth of experience doing.
Yeah.
And he's run like 1 million versions of React and Next.js
that
have just gone nowhere because it
was too early or not right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think there's a lot more tolerance for the fumbles that happen along the way.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I have maybe like a negative perspective that is like he'll figure it out, and then I'll learn from him.
Totally.
Hey, how's it going? Come on down. Thank you, Sherry.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Hello. I'm Natasha.
Nice to meet you. Long time no see.
Long time no see. Welcome. You are gonna have to scooch in.
Yeah.
Tight on.
Oh wow, we got the live.
You're live.
We're live. Yeah.
All right. In the building.
Fantastic.
Okay, it's Sheyun. Okay, super excited to talk to you. We have made this joke already, but you weren't here for it, so I'm going to make it again.
No, let's run back the joke.
Let's run it back. I have made the joke for years that a variety of people are my quant about all sorts of different things. I am trying on an outfit and the shoes aren't quite right. I text my friend. We're good. All good. I text Kate. I'm like, Kate, you're my quant. What shoes should I wear?
Perfect.
Really inaccurate way of using it. And
biting his tongue right
now. And that's part of the bit. I'm in on the joke, but you are a researcher, ex-engineer at Google Quantum AI. You are legitimately a quant.
Kind of.
Okay.
I have experience with quantum physics.
Okay.
Quant is like finance, bro.
That's a trader.
It's a trader. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like
similar math under the hood, though.
Kind of.
Yeah.
For this talk, kind of.
Okay.
But my skills are actually like building computers.
I see.
A quant trader is like if I'm trying to like short the price of something later, I'm looking at like satellite imagery in some random country to see like how many cars are in the Target parking lot, right?
Okay.
And figuring out like how things are going.
It's the industry meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Or like what is it like Wolf of Wall Street where the guy's like, this is my quant, right?
Yeah. Totally.
I'm more like a lot of physicists, like kind of nerds in the corner who are just exploring like how does the universe fundamentally work, which at its like smallest level is like quantum physics. So like the quantum meaning just like small things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the difference there.
Okay.
But there are a lot of applications in the financial industry, which
I see.
Of course crypto is an offshoot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and
it still stands to a certain extent.
To a degree.
This is my quant. This is my quant. Exactly. Okay, so you're working on something new. We're not going to talk a lot about that today, but as much as you want to talk about it, we will. And we are going to talk about, though, a piece that you wrote about quantum computing breaking Bitcoin.
For sure.
And there it is. It's great. It's heady. It's a good read, but you got to sit down and really think about it.
We'll put it in Claude.
And
just the math summaries are in there for sure.
And I want to definitely get into the piece, but the first sentence of that article, you say crypto, quantum computing, and AI are victims of a social science concept that I call telephone entropy. Can you explain what that is?
So I'll give you more background just on why I wrote the article. I started it kind of like tongue in cheek, right? Because a lot of people are mixing these words, like AI is a big buzzword, right? Mm-hmm. Crypto is a big buzzword. Quantum computing is a big buzzword. What I was basically trying to do in like a funny way is make a meme title, right? Like how a quantum computer can break Bitcoin using AI. And people are gonna look at that and say like scam, right?
Okay.
But the thing is, and what telephone entropy, to my point of view, is gonna be long term, is you basically have these data dense concepts, right? Like cryptography has a lot of stuff under the hood that is really legit. Mm-hmm. And there's like a lot of really good computer science, a lot of really good like tech there. AI, of course, as we know, is really, really complex under the hood, but there's a lot of like social implications on top of that. Mm-hmm. And now you have this new thing like quantum computing, which has had its like good and bad times. There's been times where people are really, really excited about it, and there was a lot of like buzz. There were times where people think it literally will not work. Even physicists sometimes think it will not work. And my point of like making this a thing or saying telephone entropy is similar to how like when we grew up and we were playing like the game of telephone where I said the word like cool and you pass it along like a circle, and almost never on the first time did that word like make it all the way around without getting jumbled, right? My point there is for these concepts that are like way more complex than just like saying the word cool down a line, a lot of the meaning and the truth behind these things gets really jumbled up.
Yeah.
And so what happens is people have opinions, people, they make money, they lose money, and they basically propagate like feelings about how these things are going. And a lot of the real like meat of what is possible here gets kind of lost. In physics, we talk a lot about like entropy, which is like the randomness or like chaos in a system. And so because I wanted to make this seem very like researchy or more like legit, I use that word to basically say like a lot of people are saying a bunch of stuff and it gets jumbled up, right? That's like a very like researcher way to put it. But that's my whole like telephone entropy soapbox thing. Yeah. And I also wanted to protect myself a bit, right? Because people are gonna do that, click that link and be like, oh, this is gonna become
he meant something which is not correct.
A disclaimer, right? Disclaimer, like I'm putting math out there. I want people to look at it and find a flaw in it. But I think the whole point of why I wrote this is we should be looking at these three things from like an information theoretical perspective, meaning like how are these problems being represented on the chip and how can we like build upstream computers, algorithms, systems on top of that to figure out signal from noise.
Yeah, I love that. So, before we even get into the article, I feel like that is such a good concept right now. Like there's so much just like slop, like AI, obviously there's all this AI slop, the hallucinations. And I think it's like so easy to just get like lost in the sauce of what we're even talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
In like this AI world right now.
It even gets to the question of like, what is slop, right? Because people are purchasing things that feel good. Right? Like even Claude or Codex, right, or ChatGPT or whatever, there is like RL post training on these algorithms to make them say what you want to hear, right? And you can market that as, we're making users have a better experience. We're making it feel safer. We're making it feel more friendly. But at the end of the day, it's propagating like human psychology of what they really like. And so if you have these things that are just kind of like feeding you what our brains neurologically want to hear, it's like what even in that case is like a good or a bad outcome. We're getting like super meta here really early, but it's like it goes to like the financial point, right? Like if people pay for something and there's like a dollar exchange of information, you now have this like quantifiable metric of this is like good versus bad. And so if the AI is putting out slop, but people are paying for it, and GDP is growing and everyone's happy, then where do you kind of draw the line on, hey, I'm kind of going to pull this back, or I'm going to get back to the basics of what's happening. And I think that's like a dichotomy that you see a lot in just like research and industry, right? Like research is fundamentally figuring out how things work, right? Like what is this table? What is this table made out of, right? How do the legs work? How does all the air in the room interact with the table and figure that? You're not thinking about money, right? You're thinking about like universe structure. I would argue that industry is the opposite, right? Industry is how do I sell something to somebody or say something to somebody to make them feel comfortable. And a lot of like the winnings of that game is financial value. So it's interesting. Very interesting. But slop versus like giving people what they want, I think yet to see.
I also think that
you cheating a little bit.
I also think that like
get you some light.
There is I don't know, there's like immediate value, sort of what you're speaking to, like immediate commerce or an exchange of money that might happen that in the moment is valuable because that exchange happens, but in the long term is cheap and like doesn't sustain. And I am curious about in the conversation around slop, like something I have thought about is like, there's these things that feel that are instant gratification that feel like immediately good, but I believe will not like stand the test of time. Like a really stupid example is like, did you see the AI fruit Love Island stuff?
Yes.
Okay. And like that is
Cocoa Melon for adults.
That's really funny. There's like an immediate, like something fires in your brain when you see that and like you kind of can't look away, but that it's not like nourishing to you and your brain and your soul. And I think eventually that we will see like the results of that over the course of the long tail, not actually having value and not producing like positive sum in the world.
I would argue that this is the way that the world already works. I think AI is just accelerating it and making it way more obvious.
Totally.
I think like there were always like downstream effects to software technology, like building things up. And at the end of the day, whenever you want to like build big things, you kind of have to, again, go against what humans like inherently desire. That's the easiest way to make money. Now, because it's so quick to give people exactly what they want, I just think we're kind of on a exponentially increasing curve.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
Work.
Okay, I want to get into discussing quantum computing and cryptography. And there's been this conversation for a while around how the future of quantum computing will essentially break different cryptography, Bitcoin being like the example that is talked about a lot. There's a lot of like fear around that. And in the last month, there were some research articles that came out that basically talked about that might be sooner than we think, that it might be easier than we think. And then the timeline blew up and everybody's talking about it and everybody's arguing whether that's true or false. And then there's like a combination of some fear mongering and then some, I think, really like cogent takes. Can you just give like an ELI 5, like explain it like in 5 on what that concept is and sort of how that would be possible?
Perfect. So I'll go back to my article. When I wrote it in February, the industry standard by Google was around 768,000 qubits to break an ECC curve.
Okay.
ECC curves are basically like elliptic curve cryptography, if I'm saying it correctly. But they are for like ZK Snarks on like layer 2s.
Okay.
For Ethereum and Bitcoin are like the cryptographic protocol that is very widely used.
Okay.
Shor's algorithm on a quantum computer is very, very good at breaking that.
Okay.
A lot of people, the way that they approach explaining this is, I have some very genius algorithm that is like figuring out the solution way faster than a classical computer.
Okay.
Which is theoretically correct. That's fundamentally correct. A better way to look at it, and the way that I approached it and what I wrote, is there's also information theoretic way to think about this problem, where we are currently encoding data like cryptocurrency on CMOS transistors. A CMOS transistor is basically an advanced wire where electricity is going in and out of that wire.
Okay.
Yes or no, 1 or 0, binary. All of computing is based on electricity going through a wire.
Okay.
A quantum computer is like a fundamentally different way of expressing information.
Okay.
So it is not just a wire where data is going in and out in some cases. So we're getting a little bit technical, but for the purposes of this discussion, it's a way bigger search space or way different like piece of matter that's being used to do computing. And with that different piece of matter, you're able to represent the curve problem different.
Okay. So wait, let me just make sure I'm sort of tracking.
Yeah.
Basically, the way that we have, there's computing that exists today, and then there's quantum computing.
And other forms of computing, not just quantum.
And people might think that quantum computing is just like a layer up from the way that we've been doing compute.
Yes.
But what it actually is like one is an apple and one is a dinosaur.
But yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It's like very different.
But there are like, it's like different directions, right? So everything we've built has been like apple tree. Okay. But maybe you plant an orange tree. Maybe there's a strawberry, whatever. I don't know how strawberries grow. I don't know. Strawberry apparatus, right? Like pear tree.
Okay.
And maybe by exploring how to represent the same information, like loading this onto a different root, the fruit that comes out of it will be way better, way easier to harvest, whatever. But the thing is, because we haven't had AI and it's been so hard to do these other things, it made no sense, right? Because it took way too much time to explore and theorize about this stuff.
Yeah. You gotta wait for the strawberry to grow.
100%. It's just too much.
Okay.
Now we have like, I mean, you guys know Minecraft? Like, you know, bone meal, where you basically just like put it on the root, on the.
Not that familiar with Minecraft.
There's like one thing where if you want to grow a crop, you just like kill a enemy and then you get bones and it like grows the wheat really, really quickly.
I see. So we're in that moment.
We're in that moment where like AI allows us now to explore all these different trees, which we weren't able to do before. And now it's like both like fundamentally viable and economically viable to explore because AI is eating everything else up.
Cool. Wow. Great job. Yeah. Really good explaining it.
But
Seun gives the best explainers.
But to succinctly answer your cryptography question though, the problem with quantum computers versus classical is with a wire, the wire is like blind to the problem. So if I have this like really big number that I want to decrypt, the wire does not know anything about that number.
I see.
It's like guessing and checking to see, can I find a solution to that number? What a quantum computer can do is not just guess better, but it can actually load in the entire number where it's not a guess and check, it's find a needle in a haystack.
Okay.
So the solution is already existing like on the physical chip. Like it can be represented on this chip.
Okay.
And the algorithm is like finding some way to orient the chip and get something out.
Okay.
Rather than I'm just like guessing and checking randomly to see if I get a solution.
Okay.
No, you go.
Can I just see if I'm tracking?
100%.
So you're saying one version of it is like saying go and look, but you don't know what you're looking for. And the other is saying you're looking for this very specific thing. You still have to like search around and try to figure it out, but like you're looking for the needle.
I would say both don't really know what they're looking for to start.
Okay.
But it's kind of like if I have like a box of toys, right? You can basically tell somebody, and maybe I'm reiterating what you said, you could tell somebody the toy is in the box versus the toy might not be in the box.
Okay.
And so the search space from your perspective is way more defined because you know to look in this area.
Okay.
Whereas if you're outside of it, then you don't know if the solution is in there. It may be somewhere else.
Okay.
That's not exactly what's happening.
No problem. We're getting close. For our purposes, close up. Okay. So basically, so what happened in March?
Yeah. It dropped. So Google dropped something to 168,000 or around 100,000 qubits. Or Atomic, which is a Google startup. So it was actually founded by people from Google Quantum AI, who are very locked into that group, dropped it down to 10,000.
Okay.
How they did it was similar to the tree analogy that I gave, where, so now we're looking at just the quantum tree. There are like different species of quantum trees. They basically said, forget the old way of building a quantum computer.
Okay.
We're going to build it in this way that's way more advantaged for a specific problem.
I see.
I think it's more advantage for just quantum computing in general, but they're saying there's a fundamental way to build the actual processor of quantum computing, and it allowed for a 10x decrease in the number of qubits, like physical qubits, full stop, to break encryption.
Okay.
My point with the article is I think that we're kind of approaching the encryption problem wrong, because we don't need, or I don't think we should think of this as like we need a big fault tolerant quantum computer to break it. We should think of it as like, what is the best like combination of species to piece together to like break Bitcoin or break Ethereum? Like if I was an attacker, that's what I would do.
That, though? Why would you do that? Okay, wait. So when you say, when you talk about like the computer, like are you talking about hardware?
Yes.
It's a combination of hardware and software?
Yes.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I'm of the opinion that through working with it, it is still very hard, right?
Yeah.
I'm like grossly underestimating or like overshooting whatever, like the complexity here. But in the long run, I really feel strongly that AI is going to do a lot of like the software piece of things.
Okay.
So the best way to look at like solving these problems is designing new hardware modalities that make AI's job way easier.
Okay.
And so I do mean like the entire stack of this is a computer that we're like I'm touching it, I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna load AI onto this new computer. I'm gonna tell it to go to work.
Okay. Okay.
And I think that is likely going to be what does it. Is it financially viable to people? Who knows? But that would be my take on.
Okay.
So it's happening here.
On that map.
Maybe if you're like remoting it to something later.
I got all the max specs, and you have no idea what's cooking on this.
But yeah, I think my thing is I think the real problem is AI.
Okay.
I think so many people say like quantum computer, and yes, it is. But the problem is like once you build these things and you give it to AI, it will then learn. So like those research papers that are out, I know for a fact that people are already training models on this paper or like tuning existing models to try to beat what is already done.
I see. Okay.
And they will very likely be successful in that.
You're betting against AI if you think that's not the case.
Okay.
That's my answer there.
The bar is like set, and then that gives a bunch of information to then move the bar again.
100%. And AI will just continue to do that.
Okay.
And the thing is, as you narrow onto the problem, AI gets more efficient because it's not looking for things that are wrong. So as it gets more and more correct and converges to some answer, because like the search space decreases, AI will become more efficient, and I think you'll only increasingly accelerate to the correct answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
This might be a dumb question, but okay.
No
let's say people are doing Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever. Let's use Bitcoin as an example. Is the motivation like, okay, I can break Bitcoin and then I get all that Bitcoin and then I sell? Like, is it a financial motivation? Is it like a gigabrain?
Person.
Okay.
For you, this is I just want to be the person that broke it.
It's just cool.
Okay. It's complete ego, and I just want to do it.
Okay, and probably the
ego is on the table.
I just want to do it and talk about it and put it open source and let's see what happens.
Okay, whoa, let the world burn.
Just like, hopefully I don't get Harrier strict. but like, so tongue in cheek. But to my point, like I also wrote in the article, cryptography is. So I'm not a liaison for the entire quantum computing community, but from what I've seen, cryptography is like a side effect of a quantum computer.
Okay.
There are like way cooler things that a quantum processor can use. It can be used for than breaking Bitcoin. Like no one cares about that. But people need to make money. People need to raise money. People need to do things to get hype.
It actually goes back to the thing you were saying. Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah.
Where it is actually very, very clear. And the best quantum algorithm right now, the clearest one that Peter Shor created decades ago, still holds to this. So they're going to exploit this opportunity while the opportunity is here. And then I think maybe there'll be bigger things like high temperature semiconductors or like cooler stuff down the line that are more impactful financially.
Okay.
And some people try to sell the anti. They try to sell like, oh, we're going to protect against crypto threats. Maybe that's a viable business, but I don't like selling things to people who don't believe, right? Like if I have to like convince you to do something, I'm not wasting my time. I'll just take some of it and put it on a proxy and no one will know.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, really interesting. Okay, so should I sell? Should I sell?
So this gets to my point at the very beginning, where if I could say one thing, and I'm going to look at the camera, I don't think you should like listen to people. Right. Like I can sit here not even me, right? Not even me. AI is now in a place where if you have motivation, if you have agency, and you have like done some work to understand, you could probably figure out for yourself what the good answer is. I will say I hold crypto. Okay. I hold crypto. I like it. Okay. But I'm also confident in my abilities that when something happens, something happens, I think it's going to be winning. I will be able to like crawl back, whatever. Like I'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. I think if you're like listening to what people should say you should do, I think you've kind of already lost. Yeah. Because I think to the telephone entropy point, incentives are so misaligned that it's especially now hard to really figure out what to do. But I hold crypto. I will also put a disclaimer. I know nothing about the cryptocurrency industry, so I know a bit, but in terms of like corporate professional, like actually having like intelligent research knowledge to say, I have not spent nearly enough time to say like this is going to happen. They're going to defend against it. There are also like protocols that exist that are going to like beef up these encryption algorithms to be quantum proof, right? Okay. A really good example, we'll take the Snark versus Stark example. Like ZK Starks, because I think they're lattice based or hash based, they're more robust against quantum attacks. The only problem is if you have some like I'm not going to name the name, but there's some like L2 solutions that they use Snarks for efficiency. Okay. So the problem is if you like make the encryption harder to break, you lose the speed. Yeah. Okay. And so there's kind of a trade-off there where you've got to figure out a fast way to like make sure it stays. Again, I'm not on the defense side of this, so there's definitely going to be people that will have like good solutions and it will only like get better over time. My only concern with that is what we're seeing with like Claude Mythos, right? Where even if we find some way to protect now, it is never going to be like completely 100% secure. Yeah. There's always going to be innovation that happens. Yeah. What is the timeline? Maybe it's not relevant to someone to make a financial decision, right? So I'm not speculating there. But what I will say is I don't think that this should be something where you just feel like I'm completely safe in history and someone's just going to take care of it, right? I would say do your own research. And maybe there are structures.
Or get a quant for it.
Start a podcast. Bring it on. Nice. This was 2 thoughts. 1, you're invited back anytime. 2, you should do more media.
I should.
We'll
know
talk
this.
about this after, but like,
I told you.
yeah, a star
That's
amongst
But
instead of
just-
Mike.
The more you get into media, I think I like being incognito, nerd.
Yeah, for sure.
researcher.
Actually, yeah, it's a gift to not have your face on the internet.
I love that.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't listen to me.
Well, we're gonna keep on you, unfortunately.
Well, this was so fun to be here with both of you and at A16Z. And Kate, I think you can close us out. Is she saying no? No, she can't close us out? Oh, I have to close us out. Great. I'm ending the stream.